All right, so new podcast clip that we're going to try and turn from boring into something interesting. We have footage of me talking about how businesses start with brand building content before they start doing sales content. A lot of these clips are going to be done with no script, so a lot of the chat is just going to be all over the place, and it's really important that in this part of the video making process that we are efficient. We make sure that everything that I say is cohesive and actually gives value to the audience. Otherwise, people are going to get bored and they're going to go to the next video. So first thing I always do is I transcribe the sequence so that we can actually read what we're doing instead of having to watch it all the time. So what's the message of the video? If you're new to social media, if you're a business, you should start doing brand building content or value giving content first before you try and do salesy type content. So the most important part of every video is obviously the intro, the hook. So we're going to spend a lot of time thinking about how to be efficient with that. And then the rest of the video, I think we'll just think about the structure, the problem, identifying the problem and actually making that interesting. And then obviously delivering on some sort of solution. So at the beginning, I think it's a little bit too slow. If your business is new, and you're trying to create a business brand, then it's important to create content that is brand building first. So that's what we're working with at the moment. If your business is new, so that's immediately going to filter a lot of viewers. Like if you don't have a business, you don't care about this video anymore, and that's fine. Now, the way I like to do hooks, particularly in a podcast format, I like to have a textual hook so that we're a little bit more efficient with what we're trying to provide value on. Because a lot of times these podcast clips, they can be quite wishy-washy at times. And with a short, we need to be so efficient. We only really have 1 to 2 seconds to really get the viewer hooked. Then we need to be quite ruthless on delivering the problem. We said it's creating content that is brand building first, but the problem is no one knows who I am and I don't have an authority on this topic. If I was Alex Hormozi, I could probably open with something like that because people look at Alex Hormozi and they go, successful business person. He's telling me to create content that is brand building first. I'm definitely going to listen to see why he's saying that. Unfortunately for me, because obviously no one knows who I am or no one cares who I am, I don't know if we can open with this. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to start with this part. Viewers hate it when they're immediately sold something. Like people just instantly turn off and they swipe away. The delivery on that is not great. We'll fix it up a little bit, but I think viewers hate it when they're immediately sold something is super relatable to pretty much everyone, right? Everyone can agree with that statement. It doesn't matter who is saying that. We're creating creating like an us versus them, right? Like we are the viewer. We hate that. Yeah, we hate that. So I think we're going to start with that, and I'm just going to completely cut the whole part. So I think the first thing you should do is, so here we're trying to speak from a place of authority, which once again is a little bit difficult to do when you don't have a reputation and you don't have any kind of like people don't know what you've done. So when I say I feel like we're going to lose a lot of people, but we want this. Create a collection of videos that are actually value giving or at least building trust with your brand first. So this is the important part, right? Like from here to here, this is the important part. Create a collection of videos that are actually value giving or at least building trust with your brand first so that people go, okay, I actually like this brand. It could be your personal brand. It could be your business. The answer that I'm giving here is obviously quite basic and quite obvious to like 90% of the people. So once again, the ceiling for this video is going to be quite small in that regard. We kind of have to hope that we're hitting the audience that, first of all, is creating content for their brand or business. So their business, I guess. We're kind of narrowing ourselves down, but remember, making content is not always about going viral. It's about creating a good piece of content for the audience that you're targeting. Okay, so the ending is not really like, so identify the problem here, right? The problem is this part. The first thing you should do is, and now we're giving the solution. Create a collection of videos that are actually value giving, building trust with your brand first. Now, it would have been nice to have actually ended this with an example of what that type of content is. This video would have been way, way, way better if we did that. The ending is kind of reinforcing the beginning, which I'm not super sold on, but hey, remember, we're working with what we've got. This is not a scripted video. This is completely an unscripted video. It was a question and answer podcast style. situation. These videos were done more for practice, for me to kind of learn, all right, what are the things that I'm looking for when I'm editing a short, particularly an educational short? Yeah, I mean, we're about to get into it, but then we go back to the issue, which we've already said and people already agree with. So if we were to kind of rate the video, if we were trying to break down the video and think about, okay, what part of the video is good and what part of the video is bad? I mean, I think the open is quite good. It's relatable. We just need to reinforce that with a strong textual hook. And we do provide the solution, but the solution is very generic. If I had given specific examples or some sort of framework that helped that, then this video becomes elite. Unfortunately, with what we've ended, which is kind of like the reinforcing the problem, I don't think the video is going to do that well. For the sake of this video, and so for the sake of practice, we're just going to run with it. From an editing perspective, let's think about how we can visually enhance what's going on in the video. Okay, so there's a few ways we can do the opening. Generally speaking, when I'm working with someone that is new to social media, or doesn't have a kind of a reputation, a brand, or whatever you want to call it, I generally like to open with some sort of visual animation hook that doesn't have the person in it. The only time I will use a random person or someone that's not well known in the opening frame is if they're providing a lot of energy and like they're very passionate and excited about it, because now I don't think it matters about who they are. It's actually just interesting to see someone get like really, emotional and passionate about something that they're talking about. Unfortunately, I don't think I give that away here. Viewers hate it when they're immediately sold something. I mean, there's a little bit of energy, but it's not amazing. So I'm going to default to an animated visual open, and we'll bring myself into the frame at this part here. Viewers hate it when they're immediately sold something. So we're trying to go for a relatable open. So I feel like visually we want to show something that we hate watching. I feel like everyone hates those sales guru guys, like make $100,000 in 1 month. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Like it's very, I mean, we don't know who this guy is, but it's a very stereotypical. Whenever we see these ads, they're always driving a flashy car, they got a fuckboy haircut, and then they want to sell you a course because they want you to live their life. That's what we're looking for, right?
Oh, hey there. You want to be rich? You want to drive this car? All you have to do is buy my course. So sick of hearing that online. It's totally saturated. This isn't my car. This is not what it.
Oh God, this guy is actually taking the piss out of this. Oh God, I can't do him dirty. Oh man, it's a parody open. Oh man, I just cannot find one. Like why is it so difficult to just find? We just found Mr. Beast doing a honey ad. Let's run it.
I have a challenge for all of you. Go to every computer in your house, your mom's, your dad's, your sister, your brother's computer, and install Honey. Wait, Mom, before you check out, do you have Honey installed?
What's Honey?
Oh, no. It's a free browser add-on that automatically applies coupon codes when you check out online.
So what's the catch?
There is no catch. My mom wants to buy these three.
All right, so we're going to use that as our opening. Pretty simple. Okay, cool. Let's get grid lines up. So my general technique for getting how you should do frame composition, do these grid lines. And what you want to do is you want to have the eye line center. And basically what you're going to do when you're editing, particularly if you're doing lots of cuts, you want the viewer's eye to track efficiently. So what I mean by that is you need to make sure that, if information is here on this bottom part, you need to somehow bring the attention here. And then if the next frame we need to go back up, it just gets a little bit too much. So generally you want to be efficient with where the eye is tracking. And most people will watch the video at eye level here, and you can put subtitles generally on this line. So yeah, it's really important that we spend time on this intro because this is the most important part of the video. If we don't nail this, then everything that we do from 6 seconds onward is just a waste of time. So that's why I spend a lot of time on this intro. I don't care if it takes me, 90% of the time. This is the most important part. If we need to cut corners, we'll cut corners towards the end of the video because at that point, if someone's watching the video to the end and you actually have a good resolution that people will watch for anyway, then they'll watch it. That being said, this video doesn't have a great ending as we spoke about earlier. So that is going to be a problem. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So we have our opening. Viewers hate it when they're immediately sold something. People just instantly turn off and they swipe away. So I think we're going to come back to that. I want to keep kind of thinking about what the video is and then come up with the textual hook. Okay, create a collection. How are we going to show that? So once again, probably best to just find someone on YouTube that has lots of good information. Probably Alex Hormozy is a great example of this. So I've gone ahead and added Hormozy's video collection. Create a collection of videos that are actually value giving, building trust with your brand first. And I think I'm going to cut it here on OK, bring it back to me. People go, okay, I actually like this brand. It could be your personal brand. It could be a business brand, whatever. Maybe we continue with the Hormozy example and we go Hormozy personal brand. I might do like a gridded background, Hormozy personal brand, and then we'll have his acquisition.com. Your personal brand, it could be a business brand, whatever. For this part here, for every time they see your brand, I'm going to put a picture of Imam Ghazi and I'm going to get ChatGPT to do like a really crazy, exaggerated, like buy my poster sort of stuff. And then I'm going to have him pop up out of the table. And every time they see your brand, they're going to be like, oh, it's that guy. Let's just run through the video and kind of analyze why I've chosen stuff visually. We're going to get to the text in a second, but let's just go through the video. Viewers hate it when they're immediately sold something. So Mr. Beast, honey, that's very relatable. Everyone knows Mr. Beast. I think a lot of people should know about the honey scam. We'll just instantly turn off Graham Stephan, probably lesser known, but I mean, people should know FTX, off and they swipe away. So I think the first thing you should do is create a I think Hormozy is big enough for us to actually demonstrate what I'm talking about. So here, just trying to, I mean, we're going for a little bit retention editing here. Like, okay, I actually like this brand. It could be your personal brand. It could be a business brand, whatever. Because I guarantee if you lead with client converting content, people are just immediately going to switch off. And every time they see your brand, they're going to be like, oh, it's that guy that's trying to sell me something. Or it's that corporation that just cares about sales. Okay, now let's talk about captioning and how this is important. So viewers, so I'm going to use hate as a kind of like a graphic. Why am I making this so complicated? Oh, I said I wasn't going to do something complicated and now I'm just making it really complicated. What is going on here? I've said this many times in many videos. I mean, it's really easy to just get to captions and just like let it do its thing. But I do think if you put a tiny bit of effort into like how the sentence structure and how the words actually come out, it can make a big difference. For example, here, it's like, we don't want actually and value in the same thing. Here, we're going to go green. Once again, these aren't going to make or break the video, but I think it's, so building trust, that should be on its own. We might even capitalize that, maybe make that bigger. Kind of just like emphasizing stuff and also just like, it's also just a great engagement thing, right? Different colors, different sizes, etc., etc. Actually, we do, the final thing now is to create the textual hook and then we are done for the video. Obviously, we'll do the sound design. My verbal hook just takes too long to get into the premise of the video. So we're going to go with You Sound Desperate. Now, there's a lot of white on the screen, so I'm actually going to change the text to, now I'm just going to do the sound design and we'll watch it through later. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done the sound design. I've actually changed a few things as well. Let's watch the video. Viewers hate it when they're immediately sold something. People just instantly turn off and they swipe away. So I think the first thing you should do is create a collection of videos that are actually value giving, building trust with your brand first, so that people go, okay, I actually like this brand. It could be your personal brand. It could be a business brand, whatever. Because I guarantee if you lead with client converting content, people are just immediately going to switch off. And every time they see your brand, they're going to be like, oh, it's that guy that's trying to sell me something, or it's that corporation that just cares about sales. Okay, so that's the video. And look, I don't know what you guys think. This is my breakdown of how I get a podcast clip into a final video. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to package it and upload it on our channel, Real Results.